Well, I'm backing out my parking place here at the Flowery Branch Park, and I've got the camera on my knee. I'm holding it with one hand and driving with one hand on the steering wheel. I suppose that's not the most optimum way to mount the camera. However, I really just haven't taken time to mount it any other way. And this camera that the holder that I'm holding it on only gets this high. It's not really a very high camera holding thingamabob. I suppose there's a name for it. And what it is, oh, I don't know. Anyway, pulling out of the park and around the side here a little bit, and I'm trying to show you make sure you see the Flowery Branch Bay Park. It shows the park hours, and there's actually other cars coming down the road, so I guess I'm actually going to have to be somewhat careful here, although I'm not going to go over 5 or 10 miles an hour. And there's the partiers, the balloon partier people. Looks like a nice party, good day for a party. And you probably couldn't see them all waving to me as I went past, but they all waved me. They seem to be nice people. But here we go, Safe Harbor, Hideaway Bay Marina. And now we're entering the Hideaway Bay, or Safe Harbor, Hideaway Bay Marina. And this over here is Premium Boat Storage, this little independent guy who really has done a nice job taking care of it and storing some boats here close to the Hideaway Bay launch ramp, which we're coming down to. Not long ago they cut down all these trees that you see in my left, and so they wouldn't interfere with the road. Now, that was a couple of years ago. Now they've all grown back, and of course they've done nothing to manage them at all. They're growing over the road again. And here looks like a fellow videographer going down the road there, turning in. I don't know what she's talking about, but obviously she's having a film day, the same as I'm having a film day. And when you talk about goats, right here's the goat. This is where there are goats. Right over there, you could see some. I don't know if you can see them or not, but there are goats over there. Toward the house, toward the right-hand side of the house, there's some goats. And we're gonna see if we can ride past in the boats, if the guy will let us. He's usually not here at the guardhouse because this is where Fishtales restaurant is. So usually they just let you pass, no problem. But if we have to talk to the man, we will. And we'll act like we're going to Fishtales restaurant, which we're not. But hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. And there is nobody to my knowledge at the guard shack. But here you have Fishtales and Atlanta Marine Company, I believe is what they are. But they have some really nice boats they sell down here. Really nice boats. You can see that one straight ahead. That one black boat with a white trim. Man, that's a beautiful boat. And that's probably, I don't know, probably a 24-foot boat, maybe 26. It's a pretty big boat. And this is the famous Fishtales restaurant right on the other side of the marina. And it's really nice. It's on a day like today when it's not too terribly hot. It's good, and you could have a nice meal on the porch if you wanted to, a snack. And they have a great big sandbox for your kids to play in. And man, they have some real nice boats on display in the Atlanta Marine Company there. I've gone in there and taken grandchildren in there, and we just play on the boats, and they're very nice to us. They let us. I don't know why they let us, but they do. And they're very nice to us in there. But you can see that, man, there's a lot of boats down there today. A lot of boats at the lake, at the gas station, at the little bait shack, I guess you would call it, the little shack down there. And it's totally booked up with boats, man. There's a lot of them down there, which makes it for a very interesting day. And here's the Hideaway Safe Harbor, Hideaway Bay launch ramp. And I think you can sort of launch here if you want to pay the toll. I'm not sure what they charge you, but it's not a public launch. But you can just see the first dock of the boats, and there is a tremendous amount of boats down here. Tremendous amount of boats. So, and right here, straight ahead, this field is actually, they've got either one or two guys that have helicopters, and in that field is where they land their helicopters, and we have seen them land and take off a couple times. It's pretty cool. One of the helicopter is a pretty big fancy one. It carries 4 or 5 passengers, and it comes down and lets them all out. But I've got somebody behind me, and I'm pulling over to the side. Hopefully he's gonna pull around. Yeah, he did. He's a good one. He pulled around and he didn't even honk me, so that was so nice. And he's got a Jeep, so he's a Jeepster, so you know, he's got to be a cool guy, somewhat of a cool guy. But if you notice, there's more boats and boats and boats, man. There's some big, beautiful boats over there, and not as many as they usually have. They usually have bigger inventory of boats right there. And they always invite us to just walk up on the ramp and on the walkway there and get in the boats and let the grandkids get in there and play in the boats, which is kind of crazy, but it's okay with those cats, so it's okay with us. But that gives you a tour of the marina here, Hideaway Bay Safe Harbor Marina, I guess they call it. They have a really nice, that looks to me to be very nice, boat repair facility down there. They can, you know, they can haul your boat in and haul it up and paint the bottom or do whatever mechanical work that needs to be done for your boat. Well, here we are at the guard shack. We're back and we're done with our small tour of Hideaway Bay Marina. Thank you, Hideaway Bay Marina. See you next time.